Oh, hi everyone, my name is Dylan. I have a condition called MDP syndrome.
With MDP, you're in quite a small club, aren't you? There's not very many of you. I think I read it was 15. Is that right?
When I was diagnosed, there was only 8, so it's still quite a small number. I think I think there's still, because it's so rare, there's still like a lack of awareness, but also there's a lack of like resources, and it can be quite tiring, just doctor after doctor, just complaining. About 8 to 10 years later, my mum watches the news and sees Tom Staniford. That if she hadn't have been watching, I would still be undiagnosed. I feel that that's a miracle.
I nearly fell off my chair when I saw how many followers you had on TikTok. You're doing amazing. When I saw that big M for million by your by your number, I was amazed. Like, that's awesome.
Like one of the videos, I think I told a few people at the event about the one with Lady Gaga. That one blew up, and I think because she saw it, I think that helped a wee bit. We all do have a story to tell, but we shouldn't be afraid of telling that story.
Welcome to the Life with a Difference podcast, a platform to amplify the voices of those living with a visible difference, and also to provide relevant information from industry leaders and experts. People like you and Abigail makes me appreciate photography so much. There's so much to it. It's crazy. Me and Abigail were talking about how talented you are.
I know that when I first started photography, I didn't know like how big it was. Like, it's huge. I mean, there's so many different styles. Like, I couldn't even name them all. There's that many. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a whole other world, isn't it? Did you see the photography from, is it Sylvie or Sylvia, the lady that did the shoot at Changing Faces meet up? Her work's pretty amazing as well. She does like the wildlife, doesn't she?
Seen like the wildlife, and obviously she does wedding photography as well.
She was very good. I was very nervous getting those shots, but she put me at ease. She was very nice. Your shots came out really good from that day.
Yeah, I think it's like I liked the one when it was, I think it was a group of 3 people, and we were doing like, she asked, right, pull a funny face or something.
Yeah, no, they were really good. How was your journey back? Was it okay?
Yeah, well, it was quite a long, I think it was like 2 hours, 3 hours back, but it was no delays, which was good.
Nice. No, that's good. That's good. Perfect. So do you mind introducing yourself and explaining a little bit about your visible difference?
Yeah. So hi everyone, my name is Dylan. I have a condition called MDP syndrome, which stands for mandibular dysplasia with deafness and prodroid features. So a lot of the things that come with this condition are the loss of hearing, so I wear hearing aids, and the loss of fatty tissue on the cheeks, arms, and legs. So what that means is that I'm not very strong physically. My skin can get really dry quite quickly, just because it's quite fragile, and it could easily, well, I get a lot of bruises and a lot of marks, and a lot of the time because I'm always busy holding my camera, photography, and so a lot of the time I'm always using my hands, so.
Is it lipodystrophy is the proper word, I think, for when your body can't store fat? And I read that because you don't have any subcutaneous fat on your feet, it can make walking quite hard. Is that right?
Yeah, so a lot of the time I always have to be wearing shoes or be wearing something on my feet because I can't walk barefoot. and I think if I was to walk barefoot, it's kind of like walking on stones. So, so it can be really painful.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, so I'm always trying to, if I am barefoot, I always try and make sure that I use like a special cream as well to really help with the pain.
yeah, okay. Are you generally in pain normally, or is it just specifically when you walk?
A lot of the time, I'm in pain maybe because I'm always out doing stuff. Like I like to be active, so so a lot. I never like to be not sitting down, not doing anything. So I always need to be up. But I always have to put myself first because I believe that um like your health is comes first before anything. Um, so I think that you need to make sure that I'm not going to injure myself or like if I was to fall over or hurt myself, it'll take longer to heal because there's no padding to help it to heal faster.
With MDP, you're in quite a small club, aren't you? There's not very many of you. I think I read it was 15. Is that right?
Yeah, so when I was diagnosed, there was only 8, so it's it's still quite a small number. Um, and now I kind of know a few other people that have the same condition, uh, and we've got a WhatsApp group, so we
Oh, nice.
teach each other.
Okay. Do you know is it Tom Staniford, the cyclist?
Yeah, so I know him because he was actually one of the first people that we got in contact with, and because he was the person that we actually my mum saw him on the telly because he was a cyclist, and my mum saw him and she saw me and she said, "Oh, they look really similar. They both look really similar." So my mum then got in contact from where Tom was, which was down in Exeter, down in England, and they matched Tom's DNA with my DNA, and it was a
Okay.
match.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
so that's kind of how I was diagnosed. Uh, so it just, but I think because it took scientists and doctors, I think maybe between 8 to 10 years to get diagnosed. So it took a really long time, but I'm really glad that we know Tom Staniford now, and we know, and we know a few other people as well.
Yeah, and that's awesome. It makes a big difference knowing people that are in the same situation as you, doesn't it? Like, I think people always talked about kind of having that community and having people who are like you. And I don't think I didn't properly appreciate it until I kind of experienced it. Like even that media training the other day, changing faces, to be able to walk into a room with loads of people with all sorts of visible differences. It was so nice to be in that community and everyone be able to understand what you've been through. And yeah, it was really nice. Did you enjoy it as well?
I think just meeting everyone and just because like I think it's quite hard to get everyone together. I think
Mhm.
just because well some people might live quite far away or but I think it's always nice rather than meeting online. It's nice to actually meet in
It
person.
makes a big difference, doesn't it? Like it's it's great being able to video call and stuff like that, but meeting in person is lovely, and just being able to sit around the table and just. And it's also nice that we're all working towards the same goal, isn't it? Like we've all got the same mission. That's something I really love about the Visible Difference community is everyone's working on their projects. You know, you go onto social media and everyone's got stuff going on. Like you're a perfect example of that. Like every time I go on my Instagram, you're talking in Parliament, Scottish Parliament, or you're on the telly on the BBC. Was it this repair shop, isn't it? You were on the other day. How was that? That must have been a cool experience.
Yeah, I think because I used to watch the repair shop all the time. And I just think it was a great experience because I'd never done anything like that before. But also just the door that I had to open to go into the big, I don't know, it was like, it looked bigger than actually it looked on the telly.
Okay.
But also, so you walked in, it's kind of like, if you watched Harry Potter, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I think it was one of the tents, right? So the tent looks really small on the outside, yeah? And when you
Mm-hmm.
go in, it's, whoa, it's so big. And it was kind of like that, and you just walked in, and there's like lights everywhere, and so I walked in, and then there's like, I don't know, like 20 odd cameras all facing you, and I was like, whoa, why so many cameras?
Yeah, that's cool. That's a really good. It is fun, all these opportunities we get, and we get to be involved in some cool projects for sure. Yeah, I love seeing what people are up to. I can barely keep up because everyone's doing stuff all the time. But as you say, it's crazy how the few that I've done, you don't realise how much is involved. Yeah, you go onto this set, and yeah, there's like a camera guy here, a camera guy there, like these big lights and rigs, and all these people scurrying around. It's a really big project, isn't it? Going back to MDP, is there any specific treatments or medications for MDP, or is it a case of just sort of managing symptoms?
And I think there's a lot of, maybe there's a lot of medication to go with it, but there's no, obviously, like, there's no cure, so it means that I think there's still, because it's so rare, there's still like a lack of awareness, but although also there's a lack of like resources. So like every time I've had to go to the doctors or go to the hospital, the doctors are like, okay, what is the condition? What is it? And what does it do? So then you're having to explain to them, but you're so it's kind of like, because you're the expert of the condition, so you know more about it, um, and it can be quite tiring, just doctor after doctor, just explaining. And I think because it's not really, I know like a lot of conditions are extremely rare as well, but they've got like I don't know, like websites and like donation pages, and whereas I think it's because it's so rare, there's not really anything being put in place. It's really like to try and create. It's kind of like because you've got like I know there's a few other conditions that I know that the charities got bigger and bigger. I think because more and more people have been diagnosed, um, and I think because not many people have been diagnosed, I think that's why and because everyone that has the condition is all the way around the world. So, so it's quite hard again it's like I would love to do like get everyone with my condition together as well. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, it's definitely tricky having a more um, a less common condition. The pathways are hard. If you get diagnosed with a big illness, that and you go to your GP, there's a route there straight away, isn't there? But there's not so much for the lesser known conditions. Is there like a specialist place in the UK that you have to go to? Do you have that?
Um, well, not so. I normally just go to the local hospital.
Oh,
Uh, but a lot of the time I see the same doctors. Uh, and I still see like doctors who saw me when I was quite young, so I still see them. Um, and I feel that because the condition is so rare, a lot of the time in the hospital, they're unsure like what to expect in the future. Um, so they really don't know what if the symptoms will get worse or um just like how to treat the condition. But
Hmm.
obviously, like they said that there'll never be a cure because the condition's so severe. So it's to try and find well, not to like look too far ahead, but make sure that if other people are diagnosed. And I think as well, because I got a message on Instagram the other day, and it was someone from Brazil, all the way from Brazil, and they were like, I've just watched your video, and um, I want to send a photo of me to you. So they sent a photo of them to me, and they looked so similar, and I
Hmm.
was, whoa. So then I got them to message my mum, and it turns out that he has the same condition, but
Oh
he's
wow, okay.
but they haven't been diagnosed.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I asked, well, how old are you? And then they said, oh, I'm 28. Just imagining this, not you've lived 28 years of your life undiagnosed. Because like I was diagnosed, and well, the condition, like you get it from birth, but it doesn't, the symptoms don't tend to like be seeable until later on in your life. So like I was diagnosed when I was maybe 10 or 11. So, and I think a lot of the symptoms came about when I was maybe 3 or 4. And so that's when I started to lose weight. Started to lose the fat on my cheeks. So my mum didn't really notice the changes, but a lot of my mum's friends noticed the changes. And that's when everyone, the doctors and that, did tests and they did x-rays. And they just tried to work out what was going on. And then about 8 to 10 years later, my mum watches the news and sees Tom Staniford. Um, and yeah, I just think if if she hadn't have been watching, I would still be undiagnosed, which is, and I feel that that's a miracle.
It shows how important representation is, doesn't it? And it's so how important your work is that you do in getting yourself out there. You know, as you say, with a condition that's that uncommon and that rare, there's a lot of people that will never, they could potentially never see someone like them. So it's so important you getting out there. I nearly fell off my chair when I saw how many followers you had on TikTok. You're doing amazing. When I saw that big M for million by your by your number, I was amazed. Like that's awesome. Did that happen like all of a sudden, or has that been kind of a steady
Well,
growth?
I think I think maybe it was 1 or 2 videos that I did just blew up. Uh, like one of the videos, I think I told a few people at the event about the one with Lady Gaga.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So that one blew up, and I think because she saw it, I think that helped a wee bit. Um, so I think, but also just because I feel like TikTok, there's a lot of people that do dance and singing, so it's all like music based stuff. So I think that's why it gets a lot of attention as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love Dylan the way that, you know, you have your condition, but you don't seem to let it hold you back at all. You know, you're doing your dance shows, your photography, your social media, you're doing everything. I think it's brilliant the way that you do that. I think it's such important work as well. The reach you have to share the message of visible difference and MDP, it's just such amazing work. So well done for everything you've achieved. It's amazing. We were on a social media call, me and Dylan, like a social media training call with Alex, the Changing Faces sort of social media expert. And at the end, because I've been involved a little bit with my wife's social media, and we managed to get her to like over 100,000. And I thought, oh, I'll throw in sort of my tips of, it's all about quantity, blah blah blah. Meanwhile, Dylan's quietly sitting there with 1.3 million followers, not saying a thing. Absolute guru on the call. So yeah, no, just congratulations for everything you've done. It's awesome. It's really inspiring. I hope you know how important that work is. So well done for that. With you, sorry, you also have autism. Would you say that creates additional challenges with your MDP as well? And how would you say that could make things maybe a little bit more difficult?
Um, I think I think when I think going back to school years, so when I was at school, I think because it's like when I was diagnosed with before I was diagnosed with MDP, I didn't really know what it was. And it was the same with autism. I didn't really know what that was either. And think I think it's like when people don't understand what something is, they're gonna look at it or like point at it. And I think a lot of the time at school, people did point and people did look all the time. I think they're just curious because it's something that they haven't seen before. And I think as well, a lot of the teachers didn't really understand what it was. So again, they didn't know how to help. They didn't know resources to use. I think with autism, it means that it's hard to make friends. It's hard to communicate with people. But I feel that because I wanted to tell people about NDP, I wanted to tell a story, I wanted to share a story with people. And I feel that that helped break the boundary with having autism. And I think having MDP, I think, has really helped. I feel it's made me a more confident person. I think it's also helped me to tell a different story as well with photography, because I think through photography you're able to express your feelings and emotions. I think being diagnosed with autism has helped me to see the world differently, because I think that it's good that everyone is different because we all do see the world differently. That's what makes the world beautiful, just being able to hear other people's stories as well. I think that's what's great about meeting other people and talking to new people. Because I feel that when you learn someone else's story and you hear their story, you're able to maybe get advice, or you're able to maybe do a collab with them, or connect with them. And like a few people from the event I still contact now. Uh, so yeah, I think it's kind of like when you meet people at events, you kind of make friends with them and they stay with you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, definitely. And you share so much information. I think that was a little bit one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast, is I kept meeting so many interesting people just like you, who are experts in their area, with so much great information that I think people need to hear for sure.
Yeah, I feel that I think I feel that social media has played a huge part in helping me to like create opportunities, but also to connect with others. I feel that I still find it hard to connect with others outside of social media. I feel that that's harder because I think through social media I've been able to go to events, but also meet people, so like message people. So a lot of the people that I've connected with, I've met in real life. So I think that's when like when Changing Faces messaged me. I was like, oh, is there like any events on that I could go to so I could meet other people? And I think that's why changing faces is important because you can connect with people who also have a visible difference. And I think that a lot of the time it's hard to meet people with visible differences without like charities and I think that's why charities are really important because they do help make a big difference.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, Changing Faces is awesome. They're doing amazing work. It's so nice how they're bringing everyone together and then giving us all that mission. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. When you were when you were going through school, do you feel like you got the help that you needed at school?
I think at the start the school didn't really understand my needs, like what I needed to to keep going. Like so basically like if I was ever struggling at school, like they weren't really sure that how much additional support I needed. I think through like for example exams when it was exam time, they knew that I needed additional support for the exams. And also so stuff like extra time, note taking, like stuff like that. And they knew that I needed to be in a separate room as well from other people. Um, and I think as I went up through school, they started to understand that I had different needs from everyone else. And they knew that I always needed support to help me to do what I needed to do.
Hmm. Something else that I hear a lot of the time with the visible difference community is that so many of us are lucky to have really strong support networks. So would you say that you have that? Have you been sort of blessed with a good support network at home?
Yeah, I feel that the support, I think, not just through social media, but I mean, my mum and my dad don't really know a lot about social media, so they kind of just let me do my thing. If they see me that I'm struggling, they will try and help, but I think because they were born without there wasn't Instagram or TikTok way back then, so um I think nowadays I think because social media is just growing and growing, I think that no social media will never stop. I think there's always new platforms that come out and I think as well when you grow on social media, so when you gain more people that follow you and people that message you, I think it's good in a way, but also it kinda affects you, I think, because there's so sometimes when there's so many people it can maybe get a bit too much. Um, so like I still not read all my message requests because there's like no thousands.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say it must be impossible, with the numbers you're talking about. It must be crazy. You can see why, people start getting people to manage their social medias for them and stuff like that. Because it's just, as you say, it must be impossible to reply to everyone. But it's hard because in amongst all that, there might be someone who like really needs some help or has got a really important question for you. So it's hard to. It must be hard to manage that, I suppose. Now that you've sort of moved into adulthood, how have you found that transition? Have you found there to have any different challenges or anything like that?
I think as well, like I don't really feel like an adult. Like I think I'm still in that child mind. And I think a lot of people might say that is that like you're obviously your age, but you don't feel that age. So like I think a lot of the things that I still do are things that I did as a teenager, not as an adult. Like I know like people say when you're an adult you need to go to the pub. Well, I've been I'm not I don't really drink, so it's I think it's to try and do things that an adult would normally do. So like obviously like driving as well, like I don't drive. So I think it's trying to do things that and I think as well adults, I think it's harder to socialize when you're an adult. So it's harder to like when you're in like big groups of people to chat to them. And I think as well when you're a teenager it was easy. You just go in and have fun. I think when you're an adult, you're kind of like you got to take your own responsibilities, and you've got to. It's kind of like you've got to do things yourself, so you have like less support. And I think that's what's challenging is that most of the things that you did as a teenager, you maybe had a bit of support.
That's a good point. Yeah, when you're a teenager, you do have a lot more people around you, and you're more forced into social situations, aren't you? Which makes you, I guess, better at it, and you just have more interactions. Yeah, as soon as you move away from that, they start to become less and less. Don't they? In terms of your photography, so you're a very talented photographer. Me and Abigail were talking about that the other day. Is that something you find quite therapeutic? Is that something that helps you? Would you say?
I think it does. I think doing photography has really helped to create a story, like tell a story. Um, and I think that's why a lot of my images I always try and show myself in them. So a lot of the time they'll feature like someone walking across a building, but it's just them. So I'm trying to express that feeling of being isolated and being lonely. So it's kind of like I'm like in front of the camera, but also behind the camera doing the photography. I think through photography, I think it's really helped me to, again, I think it's with, when I take a photo, I think it's kind of like time freezes. So when you take a photograph, everything else is frozen because you're in the moment. And I think that's what's really good is that once you know that you've got a good picture, then you feel good about yourself because then you can look at it and you can share it online and people can comment on it and you can um, make a book about it and that's what's good about photography. It's just endless things that you can do. Like you could create a book, you could do an exhibition, and you could create postcards, you can do all sorts. And I find that what's really good about photography is that it's not something that is just endless. And I think if when you continue doing it and you look back at all the images you've taken, you just think, wow, I remember I went to that place, look at that image I took there. So it creates memories, which is also really good.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting you were saying about feelings of loneliness and isolation. Is that something you'd say that you struggle with?
Yeah, I feel that because a lot of the time when I'm doing photography, I am on my own, like I'm walking about. But it's the moment when you get an image that helps you overcome that like depression. I think it's most of the time I'm walking around and you're kinda waiting for a moment to happen. Like you're always looking around, and once your eye captures something, you capture it, and you're like, "Wow, I just captured that. That's amazing." So yeah, and then you take it home and like you show people, and other people like it as well, and it's that feeling that wow, I captured this image, I can't believe it. Like, because a lot of the time with photography, it's a split second, like, you need to capture something before it goes. Um, so it's, again, it's a moment in time photography, so it's always about capturing the moment at the right time.
Hmm. Hmm. It's lovely listening to someone talk about something they're really passionate about. Yeah, I can see how you light up when you talk about photography. It's really nice. My little brother Sammy, he has autism. I call him my little brother. I think he's like 25 or 26 now. But he'll always be my little brother. His obsession is kind of animals and nature, especially reptiles and especially snakes, but really anything wise. And he kind of has almost like I guess, a bit of an autistic superpower in that he just can laser focus on that thing that he loves, and everything else fades away. All he wants to do and talk about is anything to do with animals and nature and wildlife, his knowledge is unbelievable. It's crazy. I remember we were at a zoo and they had like a show, like an amphitheater show. And I can't even remember what they asked, but they asked a question and Sam's hand shot up and he answered it. And the guy said, "That's the first right answer I've had in 5 years of doing this show," which is amazing. Would you say that you have that as well? Do you think maybe potentially your autism helps you kind of obsess and focus on your passion and on that thing you love in photography?
Yeah, I feel because you see the world differently. I think it really helps you. It helps you to, I think, just to push through and to keep creating because I feel that once you've done it, you never want to stop. Like, it's just endless. Like, I just think, like, how many photographs I've got now is just, you can't even count because you just kept going at it. And I think that's the thing is, when you keep doing something, you just get better and better at it, and eventually it'll just be like, oh, what image am I looking at today? I don't know what one. And like, can we look back at that image from 2002? Like, just like it's like like you can go way back and just look at all the images you've taken and like all the different places as well because you're always going to new places and meeting new people. Um, so it's really good to get that. But also the difference between color images and black and white images as well, because there's a real difference in tone and contrast and feeling as well.
Do you have like a specific goal with your photography? Is there like a person that you'd want to work with, or a publication that you'd love your work to be in, or something like that? Or are you just happy to kind of go with the flow in the process?
I think because I feel photography has created so many opportunities, and I think just to keep doing the way it is because I think that again when you keep doing something there's always something that comes into it. I think I always love collabing with other photographers because I think that's a great thing, is to see what images they've captured. And I think, like as you said, Sylvie captures a lot of great images as well. I think it'd be great, it'd be really good, like, maybe to do something with Sylvie in the future, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely, And Abigail's very good as well. Abigail's got some cool stuff. Yeah, no, that would be great. I think there's fair few of photographers at Changing Faces, so yeah, there's definitely a project there to be done at one point for sure. Would you, in terms of the advocacy work, have you always kind of done advocacy work, or was it TikTok and Instagram is where you started being an advocate?
I think TikTok and Instagram, I think I started with Instagram, and I felt that because I had something that I wanted to share with the world, and I had a message that I wanted to put out, and I wanted people to realize that we all do have a story to tell, but we shouldn't be afraid of telling that story. Because I feel that I used to hide away before I went onto Instagram. I used to hide away, didn't talk to anyone. I was afraid to show who I was. And I think being able to share my story through Instagram and now TikTok, it has given me more confidence, but it's also helped me to again reach other people, and also reach charities like Changing Faces, and also Face Equality as well. That's another really charity that have really helped me to boost my confidence, but have also helped me to meet other people that have a visible difference. I think listening to other people has been really helpful, but I think a lot of the time when you step into a room, not everyone is going to know who you are. I think that. So I think again, you always have to, in your own words, explain your story, but also explain how you've overcome challenges. I think because everyone's going to overcome challenges differently, and everyone is going to maybe struggle more than others, just because maybe their condition or visible difference is more severe. So I think everyone has gone through something, but I feel that we always have to look at the people that maybe need help more than others.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe people that don't have support networks, they don't have that mum or dad that can really help and really look after them.
They don't have um, that social media, that internet access that can really help push out what resources they need.
Do you have any advice for people getting into advocacy? So for people like me, who this is all kind of quite new to me, um, do you have any advice on how to do it, I guess?
Um, but I think what I always say is just, I think because I feel that society wants us to be someone else. So I think that you're always trying to be yourself and encourage others to be the best versions of themselves. So you're always trying to not like, I think, try and stay positive and not look back at all the negative comments and the people's opinions. I think a lot of people, they dwell on people's opinions. So I think when people's opinions really help, they push people down. But I think you always need to focus on the people that support you and the people that really help to like lift you up. You need to surround yourself with people who love you for who you are.
Just in case someone's with MDP is watching this, and I know it's a very, as I say, a very small club, but in case they're watching this, do you have any practical advice of things that has made your life easier, whether it's certain medications or um, any kind of treatments or tips that's made your life a little bit easier?
I think I think medication, I think it does help. I think like I use a lot of creams that help with my skin. I know that a lot of the time I'm always trying to find creams that really help keep my skin moist and not dry, because a lot of the
Yeah,
time
me
I
too. I'm with you there, mate.
and I think a lot of the time, like especially because it's really hot weather, so my skin can get even more dry, and so I'm always trying to take extra care before I do go outside, so that because I know if I was to get sunburn, it would be even more painful.
And yeah, I didn't consider that your skin is that much more sensitive because of your condition as well. Yeah, that's another thing to you must have to contend with. As a last question, what is something that you're hopeful for in the future, whether it's your advocacy work or whether it's within MDP research, or what's something you're hopeful for?
I think I'm just hopeful because people say not to look too far in the future, but I feel that in the future, I think more people to understand what kindness is. I feel that we still live in a world where a lot of people fail to understand what kindness is and what positivity is. I think because I think especially with social media, a lot of the time people feel that they can be negative because it's social media. I think a lot of the time when they wouldn't say something to you in real life, but they'll say it to you on social media. And I think that's the thing is that a lot of the time on social media, people are more negative than in real life because they want to try and get a reaction out of you. They want to grab your attention. But I feel you always need to, again, if you are struggling, is to always look up to others that support you, but also people that you know really well. So I think that's why I always say if you don't know what to do, is to always message someone that you trust. Always message someone that you feel that can give advice to you on what to do.
Yeah, as I say again, Dylan, honestly, what you've achieved, mate, is absolutely incredible. The condition that you're living with and the symptoms you're having to deal with, and you have that, and you have not let it stop you at all. You know, you're achieving huge things. Your advocacy work is so important, and you're putting yourself out there, I'm just really inspired by you. So, thank you so much for talking to me today, and thank you for your time. Hopefully, we'll meet up soon on the next Changing Faces meetup.
Thank you so much. Thank you.